Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Vicarage here at Penn on this Friday. Lovely to see you. Hope you are well and cheerful today. Just to remind you, this weekend, lots of services for you to enjoy. We have a meditation on Saturday evening at 5:30 in the evening. On Sunday morning, we have a Mothering Sunday service, live stream from St. Bart's. And I'm delighted to say the Reverend Deb will be preaching for us for the first time. Looking forward to that. 10 o'clock live stream Sunday morning from St. Bart's. There's a service from St. Anne's at 11:45 and an online choral evensong 5:30 Sunday evenings. So lots of service for you to enjoy. Do come and worship with us on this Mothering Sunday weekend. It will be lovely to see you. To our reading for today. There's lots to talk about. So we're in John's Gospel, as you know. We're in chapter 9. Jesus is certainly in Jerusalem. We're not quite sure if this was after the end of the Feast of Tabernacles or maybe it's certainly then or shortly after that. John chapter 9. I'm starting to read at verse 1. Jesus in Jerusalem. As Jesus walked along, he saw a man blind from birth. His disciples asked him, "Rabbi, who sinned, this man or his parents, that he was born blind?" Jesus answered, "Neither this man nor his parents sinned. He was born blind so that God's works might be revealed in him. We must work the works of him who sent me while it's day. Night is coming when no one can work. As long as I'm in the world, I am the light of the world." When he'd said this, he spat on the ground and made mud with the saliva and spread the mud on the man's eyes, saying to him, "Go wash in the pool of Siloam," which means sent. Then he went and washed and came back able to see. The neighbours and those who'd seen him before as a beggar began to ask, "Isn't this the man who used to sit and beg?" Some were saying, "It's he." Others were saying, "No, but it's someone like him." He kept saying, "I am the man." But they kept asking him, "And how were your eyes opened?" He answered, "The man called Jesus made mud, spread it on my eyes, and said to me, 'Go to Siloam and wash.' Then I went and washed and received my sight." Then they said to him, "Where is he?" He said, "I don't know." And this is the word of the Lord. Thanks be to God. The problem with this reading is what to miss out. There's absolutely masses and masses of meaning in this. We're going to try and say three things this morning. Firstly, Jesus at the Feast of Tabernacles has just made some pretty big claims. He said at one point, "I am the light of the world. He who follows me will never walk in darkness, but will have the light of life." Big things he's saying there. What he's saying is, he is the light of the world. He is the one who shows us the way through life. He is the one that shows things as they are, the reality of situations. He's also the one, because light also shows us up as well. He's also gives us so we can see what's really going on inside ourselves true. So we can truly come before God as we are. So Jesus says, "I am the light of the world." And then he goes on to say, "He who follows me shall never walk in darkness, but will have the light of life." Big claim. But you know something? What better way of demonstrating that he is the light of the world than to heal a man born blind? Which is exactly what he does. Jesus, by healing the eyes of this man born blind, is quite clear. He doesn't just talk the talk, he walks the walk as well. He doesn't just say, "I am the light of the world." He actually opens the eyes of a man born blind. So this man who could not see before can see now. And in Jesus, we have like this, we have our eyes opened so that we can see. And not just see, but really see too. So Jesus has just said, "I am the light of the world. He who follows me will never walk in darkness, but will have the light of life." And here, to demonstrate, he doesn't just talk about it, he does it. He heals the eyes of a man born blind. That's the first thing. He doesn't just talk the talk, he walks the walk as well. The second thing, and this is a huge issue really, and I have to handle it as delicately as I possibly can. When the disciples and Jesus are walking along, they see this man who's been born blind. He's been obviously begging there for years. And they ask him an interesting question. Who sinned, they say, this man or his parents, that he was born blind? They clearly see it as kind of cause and effect. This man is blind. He must have done something to deserve this, either him or his parents. You hear that kind of cry. People say, "What have I done to deserve this?" Or "What's so-and-so done to deserve this?" So it's not just a situation, not just something which was said 2,000 years ago. It's very much said today. What have I done to deserve this? What's so-and-so done to deserve this? Why is this happening to me? And this kind of question as well. And it's a very, very huge and a very, very sensitive question. And you can kind of see where they're kind of coming from on this one. Now, it is true to say that there are things that we can do which can increase the chances of bad things happening to us. If we act recklessly, if we abuse our bodies, if we're selfish, we've got a greater chance of affecting our physical or mental health. What's more, one of the terrifying things about being a parent is that the things that we do can also affect the lives of our children. And the way we behave in society, because no man is an island, as they say, the way we act can have an impact on others. If we drive recklessly, there's a greater chance that somebody else might get hurt on the road as well as us. So it is true to say that there are patterns of behaviour and sinful behaviours that we can do which can increase our chances of being hurt. But also there are things that we can do that increase the chances of other people getting hurt as well. And that's a big challenge for us there. Now, that is true, but it doesn't work in reverse. It does not mean just because something bad happens to someone that they've done something. That is not true. It doesn't work that way around as well. And we have to be very, very careful about saying that, because if you say it to someone, you can add guilt to their problems as well. You can add all sorts of extra problems as well. So whilst it is true to say that sometimes bad behaviours that we do can affect ourselves and other people, it's not true to say that just because something bad's happened to somebody, it means they've done something wrong. Because it just happens that way. And Jesus says this clearly in this reading, because when they say, who sinned, this man or his parents, Jesus says, no one sinned. Not him, nor his parents. No one's done anything wrong. He says, this is in fact to demonstrate the glory of God. This man's been born blind so that the glory of God might be seen through him. You might say, the fact this man born blind means he's been recorded infinitum forever in the Bible. His name, his personality will be remembered forever. So it wasn't that anyone sinned, but that he was born blind so that the glory of God might be revealed. And Jesus is very clear about that. So the challenge is that obviously sometimes sinful behaviours can have a knock-on effect on ourselves and other people. But just because something bad has happened to someone does not mean that they must have done something wrong. Sometimes that just happens in life. And sometimes, as happened here, it demonstrates the glory of God. Difficult issue, that one, but I think I hope you understand what I'm saying there. The third thing, though, is about faith. I said to you a few days ago that in John's Gospel, Jesus doesn't just heal somebody. He always gets someone, or just doesn't just do a miracle. He wants people to walk with him. He wants to lead them on as well. Now, with this man that's been born blind, it's quite revolting, really. He puts some spit on the ground with the mud, and he puts it into the man's eyes. And then he says, go to the pool of Siloam, which means sent. I think it's funny that he's sent to a pool called Sent, don't you? Makes it memorable. But apparently, the pool of Siloam was quite a long way away. I've heard something like that, best part of a mile, I think. So he's going to have to, bear in mind, he couldn't see. He'd have to somehow walk the best part of a mile through streets, presumably, to this place on the south side of the city. Jesus doesn't just going to put hands on him and make him better. He expects the man has to get up and then walk, or be taken, presumably, to the pool. And only when he's washed his thing off in the pool does he find that he can see. Jesus doesn't just want to do great things for us. Jesus wants us to do great things with us. Jesus wants to walk with us, and we need to walk with Jesus. We can't just expect God and Jesus to be some sugar daddy that does everything we want to. Jesus wants us to walk with him. He wants us to cooperate with him. He wants us to be with him, and not just there to have things done for us, but actually to walk with us in faith and live in a relationship with us. So lots of, and then I could go on and on. There are so many things I could say about this. I mean, there's huge, massive reading this one. But three things in particular. Jesus has just said, I am the light of the world. He who follows me will never walk in darkness but have the light of life. And he doesn't just say it, he does it by healing the eyes of this man born blind. Secondly, there are, of course, certain patterns of behaviour in life which can have effect on our own lives and other people. But it's not true to say that just because something bad's happened to someone, they've necessarily done something wrong. It may just be it's happened that way. And of course, in this man's case, his sickness, his blindness, actually brought about the glory of God. And finally, Jesus doesn't just want to do things for us like a sugar daddy. He wants us to walk with him. He wants us to trust him and be with him and believe in him and walk the mile to the pool of Siloam with him, trusting in him as we do, that he will be our eyes, that he will show us his love, and that we can walk with him as our friend. God bless you.